and picking up where we left off. And so this brings us to the last entry along the top shelf, the Unitarian Church. And this boob in a box was erected in 1818 by the Unitarian Society from a design by Godefroy, and it's dedicated in 1819 with the cost of $100,000, or just over $2.5 million today. Money well spent because it's still standing. And I've been fascinated with this building and the Unitarians ever since they came on my radar, because somehow they won up the Catholics and get this thing built before the Basilica, openly trolling the diocese by putting their church across the street. I just love that. Maybe as much as I love the fact that Unitarianism has its origins in Transylvania. They're evil bloodsuckers who only come out at night. And then there's that pesky Unitarian Islamic connection, because Mud City sees the Unitarian Church as a covert mosque used by Ottoman dignitaries when they were in town. And the Unitarians came on my radar recently when I came across this article while looking into the Maryland Jew Bill of 1826. Suffer not the evil one. And this article casts the minority Jews and Unitarians as the enemy of true Christians. Sound familiar? But if there is one thing that this article makes clear, it's that the Unitarians and the Jews were definitely in the minority. This article says that there were roughly 150 Jews in the whole state, let alone Baltimore. And the Unitarian numbers were small but vocal. And seeing that Unitarianism was brand spanking new in 1818, not only in Baltimore, but in America as well, how many of them could there have been? How did they have the money and influence enough to get this church built across the street from the Basilica, a building allegedly years in the making, without being a beard for something? The story of Unitarianism in Baltimore stinks. And for all the bitching the far right does about an Islamic takeover of America, Mud City is finding evidence that they've been here the whole time and maybe have been running the show that long as well. I don't know. And so wrapping up our tour of the top shelf in the First Unitarian Church of Baltimore, let's take a look at Benji Latrobe's illustration of it, right? And, it does give the sense that this is on top of a hill here. So I really like this drawing and definitely didn't want to leave it out. But we're not done. There are a few more landmarks I'd like to talk about. And the next two are brought to us by the letters M and Z. And these are the penitentiaries, and they're located right next to each other. And I love the bold shapes that Poppleton gives them. Fielding doesn't go so far. And here's an approximation of what that may have looked like. And Poppleton tells us that the penitentiary was built by the state of Maryland, so the taxpayers, and that it was finished in 1811 and cost $114,000, just north of $3 million today. And it was designed by one D. Kahn. And I first read that, I was like, wait a minute, is that a joke? That the penitentiary was designed by a Kahn? Right? But there it is. And the neighboring jail was built by Baltimore County, who I guess got double dipped with the taxes, having to pay for the penitentiary too out of state taxes. I don't know how the taxation worked in 1800, but these were allegedly publicly funded buildings. And the jail was finished in 1800. And it cost $90,000, or about $2.3 million today. And it's another R.C. Long design, bringing his running total to 7. And speaking of architects, let's take a look at Benji's vision of prisons as tourist destinations. Both the jail and the penitentiary seem to be lovely places to visit if you're from out of town. So it's a good thing that they're located right next to each other. And this story gets better because living in Baltimore and doing what I do, I happen to know that this Madison Street location is home to Baltimore's very own prison castle, which we're told was built between 1855 and 1859. So it's not even on my 1851 city plan. Though by this time they've clearly expanded. And that's the narrative's story with these prisons. They don't last very long and end up getting knocked down in the 1850s, and new prisons are built on the same spot, of course. And those prisons were knocked down themselves in 2020, leaving the block looking like this. But an old tower does still stand in the top right corner. But how perfect is this castle? And in Mud City, this thing would have been there right alongside these two buildings. most likely predating them. And this doorway would have been an entrance into Colonel Howard's Funtime Royal Forest, and it would have been situated here in the grand scheme of things. It is hard to get better than having this castle right outside Howard's Woods. And so this is where I have to wind it down. But before I close this one out, let's take a minute and talk about the obelisks, shall we? The Battle and Washington monuments, which are, of course, still standing today. And I call them obelisks because that's exactly what I think they were. And I think this because of Cleopatra's Needle, which was standing in Baltimore in 1880. And this is a story I go deeper into in the Baltimore Jubilee of 1880 episode. And here's a picture of it. And this thing has to be at least 70 or 80 feet tall. But we're told that this is a replica of the needles that were being erected in New York, London, and Paris. And spoiler alert for the Jubilee of 1880 episode, the story of Cleopatra's Needles stinks. This is an old world obelisk that they needed a story for and then erased. And I think they erased the other obelisks in the city by turning them into these monuments. Maybe they were broken or toppled over and these bases were repurposed, or maybe they were chiseled into these shapes. Who knows? I don't know. And so it just makes more sense to Mud City that the battle monument didn't cost $40,000 to build. It cost $40,000 to turn this into this. Mary, you're welcome to drop as much battle monument knowledge as you want in the comments section. I'll leave that up to you. And we're told that Benji's buddy Godefroy is the one responsible for this fascist design. And the woman holding the wreath over her head is a symbol of victory. Which makes sense, right? But these tapered angles sure look like they make a point as if this were an obelisk. And the same is true of the Washington Monument, though this drawing doesn't have Georgie Boy standing on top of it the way that he does. He adds significant height. And check out George Washington's face on this thing. Does this look like the dollar bill George to you? And we're told that this thing took 14 years to build at a cost of $150,000. Which Google and I put at just over $4 million today. And we're told that this one was designed by R. Mills. And one really cool thing about Washington Monument is that you can take the stairs all the way to the top if you were so inclined. And so I'm going to wrap this section up here with Latrobe's 1832 illustrations of them, which he manages to get key details wrong. He misplaces the wreath over here, and he doesn't have Washington extending his arm over here. These are clearly visible details, so it's very interesting that he gets these wrong here. And so we're going to use this as a springboard to talk about the architects and whether or not there was just a very small cabal of them involved in the scheme to either hide or cover up these already existing landmarks. A cabal perhaps run by our new friend Benjamin Henry Latrobe. And so unfortunately, this is where the sidewalk ends for Mud City. And so to wrap it up, if there was this massive civil construction project or reconstruction project, as the case may be, and you were trying to hide considerable sums of money behind said projects, whether these buildings were rehabbed old world structures or just cheap brick and plaster knockoffs, well then the cover-up might look like any other pyramid scheme with Benji at the top and him doling out responsibilities to his lieutenants like R.C. Long, Godefroy, and Milliman, who in turn create fake architects like D. Kahn, who gets credit for the penitentiary, to obfuscate their involvement or intentions. Because in some cases, literal fortunes were spent in either building or improving these structures, only to see them fall apart after a few years or have them get prematurely demolished. So the potential for a very real estate fraud scheme is there, however you want to paint the story. And I did start looking into the costs of materials and labor and even into how much Benji Latrobe was paid as an architect. But sadly, I have run out of time, and I had really hoped to get this one finished, but yeah, that's just Mud City for you. And while I'm calling this a farewell, the door is open to future episodes. I just no longer have the time to give Mud City the attention it deserves. And so it's just time to walk away, and hopefully I'll find my way back. I certainly hope to. So until then, remember guys, just because you don't know the truth doesn't mean you can't have fun with the lies. Cheers.
some